Hello and welcome to this Jane's Weather Update. It is Friday, March 15th, and this could be quite a big one. There's a lot going on. So you'll notice there is a cyclone forming off the northwest coast. We've got another one that is up here, right up the top end. This one so far has a path, a track map from the Weather Bureau, which keeps it off the coast. This one up in the top end does not yet, but likely to make a landfall just on the Northern Territory side of the border in between Queensland and the Northern Territory. So that's likely to be on Sunday. So two big things moving in through there. There's another one off the coast here, very benign, not producing much at all. Otherwise, all of this action up the top is coming down into cloud that moves across Western Australia, delivers some very heavy falls, has been doing that almost for 2 weeks now. And then the tail end of that, so it peters out, lighter falls, come across South Australia and into the southeast. Once they move into the southeast, it meets the warm water of the Tasman Sea, gets an injection of moisture, and can ramp up once again. Okay, so let's have a look at the tropical cyclone map. First of all, this is the one off the northwest, likely to come into a Cat 1, Cat 2, but remaining off the coast so far. Now, that doesn't mean that the rain will. The rain is likely to come down, as we'll see on the map in a second. As we go up the top end here, still no track map, but now we do have damaging winds and heavy rainfall because the low is developing in through here, but more likely to pass more here, closer to that border as it comes through on Sunday. Okay, what's causing this? The MJO, that's the Madden-Julian Oscillation, when this is in the green zone, which it is now, has been for a little while, and still has quite a way to go. It is over the Australian longitude, so it's in our area of the globe. What it is an increase in tropical activity. So it's energy that moves around and around the tropics, and it's here with us now. Likely to stay here, likely to get very strong, moving off the map as we go in through there, and then gradually coming back down as we go through the later part of March. So this one is still with us for a little bit of time yet. The other one we have a look at is the Southern Annular Mode, or SAM. And that talks about whether we're looking at troughs and lows or starting to see some stronger cold fronts come through. This has been positive for much of the time since we got to about November last year. Took a bit of a dip in the last week of January, and then as the pattern moved, because of where the sun is in the sky, all of that moisture stopped coming into the southeast, even though this remained positive because we went into that next part of the year. Now, have a look. We are down in negative. It is actually the most negative it has been since late last year, and here we are in this little dip now. So you'd expect a strong cold front to come through with that one. Let's have a look at that in action. Here we have, I'll just pop back up here. Here's that low. Here's that low. Here's that low, not doing very much at all. Big, strong, high-pressure system across the south. All of this coming down on the trough, so we've got all of that cloud and the wet weather that comes with it that peters out over the middle and then increases up in through here. So there are some strong cold fronts. One is likely to move across the southeast on Tuesday, and then we're likely to see another one come through Friday into Saturday next week. And this could be our first cold outbreak of the season, the year, whatever you want to call it. Yes, it is only the middle of March. Okay. Having a look at the rainfall associated with this. We know the MJO is here, so we're expecting all of this rain to be coming in across the top end. We're expecting a bit of a bullseye there where that cyclone is likely to be moving through. Cyclone crosses here and then likely to come across the inland parts of the Northern Territory. It's another big ball of rain that will be with us for quite some time, and if it can get caught up in a system that's passing the south, then that'll come down in through here, not on the models yet. This one is likely to stay off the coast and then move out through here, but part of the rain from that, again, sweeping down in here across the southwest of the country, not hitting the very southwest corner, still missing out on the wrong side of that low pressure, and then petering out as it comes across. Into the southeast here, we've got a trough that is running in through here, and that's likely to really pick up Saturday, Sunday, Monday with shower and storm activity all through New South Wales, northern parts of Victoria, and just into southern Queensland. Then coming into Tuesday, that ramps up in southern parts of Victoria and for Tasmania as the strong cold front moves through. Then we'll have another one of those come in later in the week, and more shower and storm activity in between those as that trough just lingers. So a fairly active period in through here. Okay, let's have a look at, we just had a look, back to here. So here's where the rain is falling, here's where the rain is falling, and definitely across the top. But there's a gap in through here, and there's definitely a gap in through here in South Australia. So the temperature version of that, here's our warmer air, because we've got no wet weather happening in here. That little low off the coast is going to move away. Whereas all of that cloud associated with that, dampener on the temperature, all of that cloud and a bit of rain coming down, dampener on the temperature, but warm in the southwest, and as it comes across here, plus our cold outbreaks that are coming up on Tuesday and then again on Friday, Saturday, that helps reinforce that chill that is in the southeast. So there is warmth coming there this weekend, but this is from Monday onwards. So Monday's the last day of that warmth. It gets pushed up into Queensland and far northern New South Wales. All right, let's have a look at week 2. So this begins Monday, the 25th of March. And you'll notice a bit of a difference in through here. No longer is all of the wet weather across the top. Now it is only in Queensland. So it's Queensland's turn. That's as that MJO comes up in through these parts here. So you can kind of, it doesn't always work out like this, but when it's over here, that's more of a Western Australian thing. When it's over here, more of a Queensland thing. This is literally the longitude as it goes around. So looking at this one here, we're expecting an increase in Queensland. Could this be a cyclone? It's the perfect conditions for that sort of thing. So do keep an eye. Week 2, beginning the 25th of March, we're likely to see more activity in that Queensland area. Is some of that going to come down here into the southeast? Maybe, maybe not. But looks like we're taking a break over in the northwest. The first break there for quite some time. And no longer will we have the rain coming down and across. This is going back into more of a dry spell. Having a look at that. So temperature version of that, still some lingering cool air, but warmer air coming in through here. Some lingering cool air, but more 50-50. Here are the remains of the cloud, so keeping it cool in here. And then here is that activity coming into Queensland potentially from all of that wet weather associated with the MJO as it's in Queensland. So that's something to keep an eye on for week 2. Okay, what is driving these things? Having a look at the Indian Ocean box, first of all, that is all yellow. Having a look at this box out through here, it is nearly all yellow. You'll notice I paused on the nearly bit. We'll revisit this in a second. We've got our warmer water that is off the coast here, so over the Tasman Sea between Australia and New Zealand. So whenever we can get a feed of that, that helps increase the wet weather in the southeastern parts of the country. Okay, in terms of an offset there is a hint of it building in through here. So there we go. We've got an actual sort of dipole popping up there. But in terms of an actual change from one side to the other here, all yellow, nearly, all yellow in through here. So we haven't had as much of an effect from El Nino as because we haven't had the blue water in off here. And we've had this huge source of moisture in the southeast. Okay, looking at these guys here. 3 weeks ago, we had one tiny blue bit pop up. Last week, we had a couple more dots in through here. This week, look how much is there. This is the first signs of something happening, a bit of a change happening in the Pacific Ocean. We were incredibly yellow and so incredibly warm all through these parts here, indicating that El Nino. But let's dive down. Let's have a look underneath the surface and bear with me for a sec. So this graph here, not just looking at the surface of the ocean, it's looking underneath. So it's taking a bit of a snapshot across the Pacific. You've got Australia over on this side. You've got South America over on that side. So there's the Pacific Ocean where the equator is. Here, this is November, December, January, February. So we're moving forward in time as we go down. Back in November, there was a little blue, so a cooler than average pool of water that was off Queensland, but not up on the surface. This guy decided, I'm going to get my skates on and I'm going to move across as he went through December, January, and February. Look where it has made it to now. This is the classic sign of the Pacific starting to change into its new phase, and all of that cooler than average water is now coming up to the surface, and we are seeing it appearing just in through here. So that is essentially the catalyst. It's the thing that pushes it into that new phase, and from there you may expect, are we going to get a blue box out in the Pacific Ocean, which would mean La Nina. Let's have a look at the actual forecast for that. Here we are up in El Nino, so we're in that orange box, which leads to drier than average conditions across Australia if nothing else is forcing that moisture. Here we are now, we're still up in that, but every model expects us to go down. Now, yes, this is the worst time of year for the forecast for these models, but we can see it in action. We have confirmation that that blue area, that big pool of cooler than average water is on its way up, and we're starting to see it on the surface. Will it go all the way? We can't be sure on that yet, but each of these models is indicating that yes, it is likely to, at least these ones down here. So 1, 2, 3, and now a fourth model that is heading down across the threshold as we go through the later part of winter and into spring. So the other 3 models don't quite make it there, but they're definitely not up here. So if I was putting all of that together, looking at what's happening underneath, looking at what's happening here on the surface now, plus each and every model having this sort of trajectory, that would indicate that, yes, a La Nina year is on its way. We're done with El Nino, or we will be once we get out of that, as we go through winter, spring, and summer next year. Eastern Australia, the Pacific Ocean, Pacific is likely to push moisture in our direction. Okay. Having a look at the Indian Ocean. We saw that this one bobbed right down here. So it was up in here in a positive Indian Ocean dipole, which says the moisture is moved away from Australia for the Indian Ocean. And here we came out of it and we bobbed straight back down. Now, at this time of year, it's the monsoon taking over. So these particular areas in through here, that may have just been weather. So that's where the cloud is at the moment. So it produces a cooling effect on the surface of the ocean there. We also have this off here, which is related to the cyclone we had a little while ago, and now the current one that we do too. So they may not be long-term trends, more just what the weather is doing above them at the moment. However, having a look here, this one has gone straight back up again, and each of the models have it moving back up in through here. So this is likely to be, for the Indian Ocean, another positive Indian Ocean dipole year as we go through autumn and into winter. But there are 1, 2, 3 models that are suggesting a downward trajectory as we go through the later part. So if you're looking at that, what does that mean? Those juicy northwest cloud bands that come down and hopefully soak southern parts of the country when we need it, when we're planted, when things are needing all that water to grow. And so through this part of the year, that indicates that those northwest cloud bands contain less moisture than normal, which means less rainfall. Again, just one factor in the big picture of things, but this is one of them saying that the Indian Ocean may not help us out. However, that is through autumn and through winter. As we move in through here, if these continue to take a dive, maybe that ends up being a wetter end to the year. So that's something to keep in mind at this stage. None of this is guaranteed. It's just where the models are sort of heading at the moment and one piece of that puzzle. All right, let's have a look at what all of that is going to do over the next week for a couple of places. I have picked the Northern Territory. This is where that cyclone is most likely to cross through in terms of the modelling as if we had it this morning. So looking here, just starting to get going today, increasing falls as we go Sunday into Monday. That's when it was likely to cross the coast, and then tapering off again as it moves inland. So here it is getting going. We've got Saturday, we've got Sunday, we've got Monday. Have a look at these rainfall ranges. Pretty much 0 to 49. All right, so that's for Saturday. Pretty much 0 to 206. So a massive range in there between all of the different weather models. Let's expand that out and have a look at what is going on there. So we're looking for colours here. I'll show you the key. We've got Australia being yellow, Canada being pink, USA purple, and Euro is the tealy green one. Now, I'll notice a big lack of pink all in through here. So Canada is not liking this system at all for this particular spot. It has it going in a different direction. Whereas we've got the purple USA and the yellow Australian, they've got some moderate falls in through there. But the big contender in this one is that Euro. That's the Euro model that is suggesting that this part of the world is likely to have a fairly direct hit from that cyclone if it becomes one by the time it crosses the coast. So that's where the 200 millimetre falls are. Let's move into the next day. Here we go, 0 to 215. So another big one, and it's the green. So it's the Euro that likes all of this, whereas the other two models really taper it off, and there's nothing from GEM, which is Canada, coming in through here. So that's why we have a look at the advanced pillbox here, just to have a look at what each of those individual models are saying so that we've got the complete picture of what's going on. Okay, let's have a look here. We're going to Dubbo, New South Wales, because if I have a look at my rainfall outlook here, that's pretty much coming into a fairly decent shower and storm activity over several days as we move through pretty much next week. So let's have a look hour by hour. Nothing today, nothing on Saturday. Sunday it might start to pick up, Monday as well. Tuesday, taking a bit of a break. There's some heat arriving. And then there's a bit of a cooler change as we move through into these parts here. But if you want to see some really cool weather, let's look here. Hey, that's just in the low 20s in Dubbo, as we've got some weather coming through associated with a strong cold front. So there's something interesting brewing on the horizon there. Taking a look at another one, if you're interested in snow, otherwise stop the video right now. But this one has a look at Mount Mawson. It is in the lower parts of Tasmania, so right in the south there. Very gusty winds as we come through. So it's going from 21 on Monday to below 0 by Wednesday morning. So here it takes its dip, and we might see some flakes on the top of that in the early hours of Wednesday. It doesn't really warm up very much after that. And then the next cold outbreak comes through Friday into Saturday for potentially some more flakes there. And we're looking at a continuation of that as we go through next weekend. So if you're in the southeast, we've got the warmth this weekend. It's not the extreme heat that we had last time. There's showers and thunderstorms to the north, preventing that extreme heat coming down. And then on Tuesday, we've got our first taste of colder air coming in. It'll get reinforced as the week goes on. That's it from me now. Head to janesweather.com for the latest forecast. Have you joined the trial for Pro yet? It's fabulous. It's all this great data. It takes into account what's actually occurring on the ground. So the observations, and it plugs that into the models and it just recalibrates. It adapts the forecast to those local conditions. It's a great product. I highly recommend it. janesweather.com. I'll see you next week. Bye.